What's up everybody, it's Sean here and I'm here today to give you guys a review of the Nike Dunk Low SE from the Sashiko pack in this light Orewood brown and industrial blue colorways. Today's video is brought to you by Heffelux. When it comes to sneakers, comfort is king. So when you buy a pair of shoes and find out they're uncomfortable, one of the easiest ways to fix that is to swap out the insoles. So that's where Heffelux comes into play. If you check out their website, which I've linked down below in the description box, you'll see they sell a variety of eTPU insoles, which really is the same material you'll find inside Adidas Boost. So if you're looking to add some additional comfort inside your shoes, be sure to check out their website and use the code SEANGO at checkout and take 15% off your entire purchase. So these two dunks are part of Nike's Sashiko pack, which dropped back on March 1st for a price of $120 US each, or 160 Canadian dollars. So this colorway right here is the light Orewood brown colorway, and the official colorway for this shoe is light Orewood brown and pale ivory, and this one right here is the industrial blue and summit white colorway. So Sashiko, for those who aren't familiar with it, is a very traditional Japanese style of embroidery or stitching, and we've seen this style adopted on past Nike shoes as well. So because of that, for both of these pairs, instead of the traditional suede or leather, the uppers of these shoes are crafted using a textile which feels like canvas to the touch. So starting things off with the toe box, you can see here for the industrial blue colorway, here we have a white colored textile, whereas for the light Orewood brown colorway, we have more of a cream or tan colored textile instead. Embroidered across the toe box, instead of the typical perforations, we have this plus sign detailing, which is done in blue on the blue pair and red on the light Orewood brown colorway. Surrounding the front toe cap, we have more textile, but in the case for the blue colorway, this is done in this industrial blue shade. And you can see here throughout the blue panels, we have this contrast white stitching. And in comparison for the other colorway, we have more of that cream color textile, and the stitching on this pair is done in more of a darker brown shade. So covering the eyelets, we have the same respective textiles, and then the back three eyelets for the blue pair are outlined in this white colored stitching, whereas for the light Orewood brown colorway, it's outlined in a red colored stitching instead. Underneath this on the mid panel, so we have more of that white colored textile, and overlaid on top of this, we have a blue colored textile swoosh, once again with that contrasting white stitching. And then for the light Orewood brown colorway, the mid panel here is done in a slightly darker shade, and then we have more of that bright cream colored textile once again forming the swoosh, with that grayish brown colored stitching outlining the shape of the swoosh itself. Moving downwards, you can see we have more textile which wraps around the back end of the shoe. And then on the top of the heel, we have that same plus shape embroidery that we saw earlier on the toe box, once again done in those respective colors of white and red. As far as the laces go, so for the blue pair, these come with these flat style laces in white, and in comparison for the light Orewood brown colorway, the laces here are done in more of a darker beige tone, which matches the color of the mid panel of the shoe. Underneath this, instead of a nylon or leather tongue, the tongues for this pack are also constructed out of that same textile. And on the very top, we have this woven tag with Nike branding in blue and white on the blue pair and cream and red on the light Orewood brown colorway. The interiors of the shoe are lightly padded with foam, and they're covered in this nylon finish. And then as far as the insoles go, so this is your typical foam lined dunk insole, and we have Nike branding stamped on the heels of the insoles. So the upper of the dunks sits atop this solid rubber cup sole, which is painted in white on the blue pair and this cream color on the light Orewood brown colorway. And then turning the shoe over to the bottom, here we have your traditional dunk outsole. So this is constructed out of a blue colored rubber on the blue pair and a pale beige tone on the light Orewood brown colorway. And for both pairs, we have Nike branding found right in the center. So that breaks down the look and the construction of both of these pairs. And for those wondering about sizing, so my feet measures as a true size 10, slightly on the wider side, and I usually wear a size 10 in most of my Nike sportswear dunks. So I got both these pairs in a size 10, and generally speaking, they do fit true to size. For some reason, probably just an inconsistency with the manufacturing process, but I found that this light Orewood brown colorway fit a little bit more snug than the industrial blue colorway. So if possible, I'd recommend trying them on in store first if you can. There's probably going to be some variation in terms of how they fit, but if you don't have the opportunity to try them on, my best recommendation is to go true to size unless you have really wide feet, then you might want to consider going up a half size. Moving on to the comfort, so these feel like any other dunk, even though the upper of the shoe is crafted using a different material than you're usually used to. So overall, it still has a very stiff, firm feel underfoot. There's not too much from a softness and step and comfort perspective, but for an everyday casual use shoe, the Nike Dunk is going to be perfectly fine. Just don't expect anything too soft, too cushioned. It's just a very basic foam underfoot, which really is nothing to write home about. Finally, in terms of the overall quality and the craftsmanship, so first off, material quality, I thought it was actually pretty decent. Instead of leather, this textile upper that they give us, to the eye and to the touch, it feels like it's a pretty decent quality material. It feels fairly thick and pretty sturdy, and while on a personal basis I prefer leather or suede, I like how they change things up a bit, and I think the variation in the material gives it a bit more of a visual interest as well. But from a craftsmanship and build standpoint, this is my biggest issue with this pack. So first off, I had a lot of issues with both pairs. For example, one of the swooshes on my blue pair, it was totally misaligned, and you can see the edge of the swoosh is touching the eye stay area of the shoe, whereas the swoosh on the other foot and the other side were perfectly fine, leaving a bit of a gap between the swoosh and the eyelets. And similarly, the stitching on both colorways were pretty poor as well. You could just see on certain areas, the stitch job was just done very poorly, and I had a lot of excess strings that I had to trim off myself, which was very disappointing. And even something like that Sashiko detailing on the toe box, if you look at these side by side, you can see the placement on the blue pair is placed a lot more forward and towards the edge of the toe box compared to the light Orewood brown colorway, which sits back closer to the laces a little bit more. So it's these small inconsistencies that really bug me and kind of turned me off from this entire pack because of those issues. So I don't know if I just got really unlucky, but if you guys pick these up, take a look at your pairs and let me know in the comment section down below if you guys suffered from those same issues as me. So with all that out of the way now, let's toss on both these colorways on feet and I'll show you guys how these look. So this pack has a lot of good going for it and a lot of bad as well. I think from a colorway perspective, both of them are really solid. I think this blue and white pair just pops a little bit more and has more of that classic sort of denim appearance to it, whereas the light Orewood brown colorway is probably a more versatile colorway and one that's probably easier to pull off. But I think both of them are really nice in their own way. And like I mentioned before, I like the variation in the materials that they used and the small details like the stitching on the toe box on the heel. Those are things I really appreciated. But like I mentioned, the quality control or lack thereof on both of these pairs was very disappointing, and to you it might be very minor issues, but when you add up all those small flaws, it just becomes that much more noticeable, and it just seems like the factory did a really rushed job in making these. So let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about this Nike Dunk Low in this light Orewood brown and this industrial blue colorways. Between the two, which of the two do you guys prefer? And for anyone watching, did you pick up one of these, both of these, or did you just pass on them all together? If you guys like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. You can follow me on Instagram at esco8, follow my Twitter account at sean.go, and visit my website at seango.ca. So until next time, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll catch you guys all in the next one.